Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtam Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, I welcome all of you for this live streaming of Akashic readings and introduction and sharings of the various different Shaktis that Swamiji has initiated all of us into. Today, I will be sharing with you not just about Akashic readings, but many more different powers that Swamiji has initiated all the Balasans into. So, maybe if you've been listening to past few days satsang, you'd have heard so many different people sharing different experiences that they have been having with this whole new Shakti of this depth dimension, length dimension and breadth dimension. When you would also heard about different people sharing about how they felt when they entangled with the Balasans, doing all these different expressing all these different Shaktis. Even today morning, one kid, she does not even know anything about a painting, or that painting was not even in the display, and when she drew, it was perfect, exactly. It was like a bunch of flowers with some yellow flower inside, and it was exactly perfectly right. So today, stay tuned to hear more from various different people who have actually experienced it. So we'll be having so many different people come up and share that. Swamiji has been sharing so many different things about how the length dimension itself, how many layers of it is there, how many different possibilities are there. Not just in length, see, in length dimension, how the whole thing started off was just we can get to know some information. But we never knew that the information will be not just from some simple thing of what is there in your house, but it was also, next level was like mathematical calculations, huge mathematics calculations, that was also possible, and we never knew that. After that, he also told us that we'll be able to tell the dates and timings. That was totally unimaginable by us. Like right now, they will be able to sit here and tell you what is the time in Alaska, or I'll be able to tell you what is the time in Los Angeles. So that level power is something amazing. Then this was, and after sharing all these powers with us, Swamiji is telling that this is just one thing and he's not even excited about it. And I was like, what? How come he's not excited about this? He told that he's waiting for us to manifest the depth dimension. So from length, we moved on to next the breadth dimension. There are actually the three things: length, breadth, and depth. So first initiation was this length initiation. That is where we used our we went beyond our logic, or the whole logic part is broken. Wherever logic is used, like to calculate something, so we'll be able to do like 20 digit into 20 digit by 30 digit calculations. Then now later he initiated us into breadth dimension, where we'll be able to play with the emotions and the artistic features. That is when the Balasans, the new species, started drawing or so many different things just using their creativity. They'll be able to listen to music or repeat a music. More than me sharing all this, it'll be so nice if you hear from the people who have experienced it. So stay tuned to listen from the people who have actually experienced this and are waiting to share those experiences with all of you. So let's now hear an Akashic reading, and then let's hear the experiences.
Card came about end of December, and the last he saw it was in the hall. He had kept it on the one of the shelf, and after that he's not been able to find it.
You're able to now see the Balasant, seeing Swamiji's Murti, and connecting with that energy and getting the Akashic readings revealed. By the end of this year.
You will find it in your bedroom under one of the bookshelves. It's sitting in a very small corner. If you go searching in all the shelves and cupboards, you will find it.
Can I ask another question? Okay. I want to know if my second sister will connect back. This is a personal question.
Like this, different people come here and have their Akashic readings revealed to them. So many people, and you'll be able to see the Balasans actually seeing Swamiji's Murti and revealing the Akashic readings. It will not at all be from logic, because otherwise, if it is from logic, how are they to know who you are or what kind of background you are from? Nothing they know, and they're actually able to exactly, precisely answer the questions. So So the Murti that you're seeing now is a Chitsaba Nayakar Murti. So in using this is the Murti on which the Akashic readings get revealed to all the Balasans. So now we are having Dr. Manitya Balananda with us, who's waiting to share her experience regarding all these different Shaktis and the Shaktini Pada that they have been experiencing continuously.
Nithyananda.
You introduce yourself and start sharing the experience that you have been going through and having everything with all the people there.
Okay. So I'm a school administrator and I'm retired, and I've been in school administration for 35 years in the United States. And what I'm seeing with these initiations is that it's transforming individuals from a low self-image into the highest potential. And when I was in the school system, we were actually contributing to what Swamiji calls a strong toxic mental setup. And what that means is that we think that we can't do things, that we don't have the confidence to public speak, we don't have the confidence to solve difficult equations, or we don't have the confidence to see into the future. When in actuality, neurologically, we're using less than 10% of our neurological functioning. So as a school administrator, what I was studying was in specific particular parameter was mental illness in students. And in the school where I was a principal, many students were being identified as ADHD, bipolar disorder, intermittent explosive disorder, and all these disorders. So you can see we were encouraging a strong toxic mental setup. These kids ended up in jail. Many of them are in prison that were
Children in prison.
We're setting children up to go to prison by not infusing them with consciousness. Because you see, the missing piece is consciousness. It's that wholeness, it's that whole brain functioning, it's that unity with Swamiji that discreates, that melts down that toxic mental setup. Every single kid can have an IQ of 140 or above, and that's what I'm finding. I've done IQ tests on all of the Balasants, and I've done an IQ test on Lopamudra. And while I was giving her this test, she started reading the answers through the book, through the Slauson. And she read, one of the answers was William Shakespeare, and she read it backwards. She read the word William backwards and the word Shakespeare backwards. She used to do that a lot when she first started to fine-tune her special powers. She would see the words backwards. But these abilities, these telepathic superpowers, are just natural. They're part of our natural blueprint, and every child and every human being has the potential to do this. So my job here at the ashram is to identify and help every single child to come up to that speed, to come up to that standard of perfect confidence, of perfect IQ, a score of 140 or above, and to manifest these superpowers. And that's what I'm seeing Swamiji download into every single person who's in this Nithyananda Yogam program, is the potential to do anything, to see through and to engage anything, any aspect of life, whether it's your interpersonal relationships, whether it's your mathematical ability, whether it's your IQ. Everything is going to create a high performance.
Now, what is the thing that you saw as a major special thing in the Balasans? And about all this, when they started Or what was your experience with the Balasans when they started manifesting all these different powers?
Well, of course, I knew and recognized it was going to happen because I was the first person who took yoga mata in a completely dark room at 4 o'clock in the morning here at the ashram. And I gave her a piece of paper that I couldn't find any regular marker, so I wrote it in a purple magic marker. We go into a completely dark room, and she's triple blindfolded, and I hand it to her, and she says...
Triple blindfolded.
Triple blindfolded. And she says, Ma, this is upside down. I'm like, I can't even see the thing. You know? These mosquitoes are biting me in this room, and she's telling me it's upside down, and then she says, and Ma, this is what it says. And it said, I can read in the dark, blindfolded, Om Namah Shivaya. And she said, it's written in purple ink, Ma. And I'm like, oh my God.
And the whole room is in pitch dark.
Pitch dark. And she's triple blindfolded because I'm a scientist. And see, I specialize in brain research. So I want to make sure all the protocols are exactly right. I follow everything to the T. So I documented all of this 2 years ago. And here is what my recommend. One kid, it was Brahma Sukha. I asked him a question no other Gurukul kid could answer. And it was a really strange, it was a British literature question, and the answer was Longfellow. You remember the question about Longfellow? Nobody knew that was the answer, and he did. I said, Brahma Sukha, how did you know that's a poet from England? How did you know that answer? And he said, I don't know, maybe I just came from somewhere. That was the first download of these telepathic powers, and I got to witness it. So see, then at the end of this is how stupid I was. At the end of doing this testing program, my recommendation was that these kids get exposed to British literature, which is a joke. They don't need any exposure to anything because they can download anything. And to show you how they can do that, here is a test that I brought with me this time. It's called Match Wits with Mensa. And what this does is it matches all the Gurukul students with the highest IQ individuals in the world. These are people that have an IQ of 140 and above. Now, these were the questions that only 10%, very low levels, of the people with the highest IQ could answer. So I gave this to Kalpaleta, and Kalpaleta is Lopamudra's sister. And the first question is, where would you be if your hotel bill was charged in Makara? And the answer is Finland. Well, she immediately knew it was Finland, and 10% of the Mensa candidates knew that.
10% of the whole world Mensa candidates.
These were 100
God.
Mensa. These were just 100 selected Mensa candidates who had an IQ of 140 above. Only 10% got this correct. She got it correct in 1 second.
And the whole beauty here is there is no thinking time left for this. So this proves that it's a power. It's not. See, understand clearly that first thing, she's too small, and second thing is that out of the whole world's Mensa is one of the highest IQ
It's
tests.
the highest IQ.
And out of that, without even thinking time, and she's able to answer some strange question. What? I never even heard that word marka anywhere.
Of course, nobody ever heard that word. And then she says to me as she takes the test, Ma, what is sweet white wine? What is sweet white wine? And I said, you don't know what that is? And she said, no, what is it? And I said, why are you asking me that? And she said, because it's the answer to number 3. So the number 3 was, what is Barzak? And only 10% of the Mensa candidates could answer that. They didn't know what Barzak was, but she saw, in whatever way, this telepathic way she's seeing it, sweet white wine, and that was exactly the answer. She did all 25 of these questions within about 30 minutes or less. I think it was maybe 20 minutes. She got every single one of them correctly. And so she's super Mensa. I mean, we need to get Mensa to see that she's the topper of all the Mensa candidates. And how old is she?
I think, she's 11 or 12 years old.
She's 11 or 12 years old. Then, here's the pièce de résistance. She goes over in a corner. It's 10:30 at night, and I'm in the Nithyananda Yogam program. I'm all crashing and burning and ready to go to sleep. And she says, "Let's do another test." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want."
Where in the world do kids ask for more tests?
She couldn't wait to do another one. So then she goes over and she grabs this big thick chemistry book that has equations in it that are this long. And she says, "I'm going to do these chemistry equations." And I'm like, "Oh, you want me to read them to you now? I'm too tired." She said, "No, don't read me the questions. I just will put in the answers." She went in and she put what the answers were on all 50 of those questions, and every single one of them were correctly. She never even got the question.
No questions?
She had the answers.
And she had the answers with her. And 50 questions, and all of them were complicated chemical equations. These powers, I tell you, they're amazing. And this, what she's talking about, is just a first level power, and which is called as the length dimension, which Swamiji told it. He's not even excited about it because it's such a basic power. And you see what that basic power means here.
So here's what I want you to know, the audience to know, and I hope we can get this out and this can go viral, is that I'm a school administrator and I'm ready to take your child who's been identified as ADHD or bipolar or intermittent explosive disorder or any of these stupid schizophrenic labels that you guys are getting your kids identified and creating more of a strong toxic mental setup. Bring them here for the program that they're having for the kids, the Inner Awakening for kids. I'll test them before and after, and we'll prove that all of that. So I challenge all of you, all the parents out there, if you've had your child identified as ADHD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, intermittent explosive disorder, these were all of the things that I was personally and professionally working with for 35 years. I challenge you, you bring your child here to this ashram, I'll give them a pre-test and a post-test, and I'll prove that all of their toxic mental setups will be melted down, and you'll have a child that will be successful in life. So, just come to Nithyananda because it's the answer, it's the solution to all of your child's problems. They'll just melt down and be gone forever.
Thank you, Ma. Thanks a lot for your sharing.
That's good, Malananda. Great.
Now we have Ma Nithyananda Bodhana with us, who's waiting to share her experience regarding all these Shaktis and the Shaktini Pada that she has been having. Yeah, Ma, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Nithyananda Bodhana. I'm Chief Kotari in the Ohio Sangha in the USA. And I'm also a mom of 2 girls. Both have been to Inner Awakening and other programs. And also I teach in the public schools. So I, just like Balananda, I have a different perspective. Actually, I feel like I have 3 different perspectives on this whole manifesting power and what's happening. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share those perspectives and then what I've experienced here. Let me start with what I experienced. On day 1, when length was introduced, I was working with a Balasan named Atma Maya. And initially we were doing length, which we were doing equations, long math equations. Swamiji wanted us to do 8 digits, 9 digits, 7 digits. So we're pulling out things like, let's say, 530 million to the power of 6 times 34 to the power of 2 divided by the square root of, just these ridiculous long equations. So we'd go 3, 2, 1, set the timer, and the timer would start going. And Atma Maya would just start writing. Looking in the Krishna Sila, we're using a granite slab with Yananjana. Yananjana is what they're looking into. So she just looks and she starts writing number.
I think you should tell the audience about what Jnananjana is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So Yananjana is a sacred substance that Swamiji's made. It's from the Agamas, which we've talked about, directly from Sadashiva. Swamiji himself calls it liquid Sadashiva. So we apply the Yananjana in 3 places. Third eye, and the eyeliner here. Immediately we're connected to Sadashiva, able to see through our third eye what Swamiji himself is seeing. Now, whether we're looking in the banyan leaf, the Krishna Sila, or the mirror, the Yananjana is applied. But the substance beneath it is what's providing the type of definition. So, for example, the granite slab provides the highest definition, the most color, the best depth that you can see. So when you're looking into it, that particular substance provides a really great imagery, let's say, versus the banyan leaf. The definition's not quite as high.
See, the discussion that we are having, like, Usually people will be thinking, okay, the camera quality or TV quality. Here we're so casually telling that just in leaf this is a quality comes, and in mirror this is the quality comes.
Yeah.
The quality of us speaking itself is so high.
Well, the thing that clicked with me the most is that the day that Swamiji was describing it to Nithyananda Yogam, he said, in Meenakshi's time, every single household had the large granite slab with the Yananjana, and they all sit together and watch. Like the same way we watch TV. He said every household had this. The other thing is, he went on to say that the way that they were doing the astronomical calculations then was strictly through the Yananjana on the slabs. That's how they got the information, it's how they communicated. So let me go now back to the situation. So we're sitting with a young Balasan. She's around 10 years old. She's got this granite in her hand, and she's put new Yananjana, because you apply it new every day. Or you can even apply it in the hour. Let's say you're feeling a little tired, you can apply fresh Yananjana. So we start with these calculations, and she's got a notebook and a pen, and she immediately writes, and as I said, we've set the timer. So then she gets a number and she says, done. And then we get the calculator out and we look, and the answer is not right. She goes, okay, next. There's not even anything like, oh, nothing like that at all, just next. So again, another question. Even this Shakti Rupa is going to be tomorrow. She was in the team. We write the next one. 30 seconds, she writes it. Done, look. Answer's not correct again. I'd say for about a half an hour, no correct answer at all. But what was shocking to me is the complete lack of concern that there's nothing correct. She just kept saying, that doesn't matter at all. Let's keep getting the time lower and lower. She was not in the least bit concerned about correctness. Now look at our whole school system. All that matters is whether you get it correct or not. So our whole team, there's 3 or 4 of us around her. All of us were just shocked. Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going. Still nothing correct. Keep going. This is so opposite to anything we've experienced in our whole school.
Very true. And right now, what you can see behind me, the Akashic reading kids have already finished their session, and they're winding up also. So even you guys can have your Akashic readings read, and you can also stay tuned to hear more about all these different Shaktis. Ma Bodhana is here. Tomorrow also she will be coming to share her further experiences, that whatever she has had all these years, all these days, what she has been going through, what is amazing possibilities that she is seeing in different people, and about the school system.
Yes.
So thanks a lot,
Thank
Ma,
you so much
for joining us today.
Yeah.
We are waiting actually to listen to more of your experiences. They're so nice.
Yeah, I really want to share about the school systems, the 3 experiences
Yes,
from parent,
for sure.
mom, and
You
teacher.
come tomorrow,
Yes.
and you can let us share all these experiences with all of them also.
Thank you,
Thank
Ma.
you, Lord, for watching. Nithyanandam.